All right. Let's be on the record. Case number 2019 CR 1232, caption State of Kansas versus Samantha Robinson. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state of Kansas appears virtually through Assistant District Attorney Adam Sokoloff.
Your Honor, Ms. Robinson appears in person on video with counsel Vincent Rivera.
All right, we are here set down for a sentencing today. Back on, I believe it was July 22nd, the parties appeared. At that time, the defendant changed her plea from one of not guilty to guilty. I inquired and accepted, ordered a PSI, and set it for sentencing today. I've received a copy of that pre-sentence investigation. The critical findings are as follows. The sole count of conviction is one of aggravated endangerment of a child, which is a severity level 9 person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be that of I, as in Isaac. That would leave her with a presumed sentence of 5, 6, or 7 months in the Department of Corrections and a presumption of probation. If she has to do her time, she'll be eligible for up to 20% good time credit. Special rule number 35 regarding aggravated endangerment of a child applies. If she has to do her time, she'll be subject to 12 months of post-release supervision duration. If she's granted probation today, it would be for a period of 12 months to court services. I would ask you, Mr. Sokoloff, did you have an opportunity to review the PSI? Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges to those findings?
The state has received and reviewed the PSI and has no comment or amendment.
All right. Same question for you, Mr. Rivera.
Yes, sir. I've reviewed it, and I have reviewed it with Ms. Robinson, and we have no objections.
All right. There being no objections, I will adopt the findings of the pre-sentence investigation. Comments upon sentencing, Mr. Sokoloff. Oops.
I think he's frozen.
Your Honor, this was it deliberately?
You're freezing up on us. You might have to start again there, Adam.
Okay. Any better?
Yep.
Okay. This deal was deliberately crafted, and I think the court is well aware, quite frankly, because we just sentenced the co-defendant on this case. It was Miss Robinson's involvement and cooperation with the state's prosecution of Mr. Benton that enabled us to secure the plea from Mr. Benton to accept responsibility. And as the court knows, that young man is in prison for a substantial amount of time now as a result of this crime. Miss Robinson is accepting responsibility, and she's taking the charge, which we believe was appropriate for her behavior. We are not asking this court for a probation or any sort of paper in our county, partly because we're offering her a time served deal here because she served a significant amount of time. We're asking you to sentence her to 60 days. And as the court knows, she served well more than that. And we believe that she is doing what she can to get on the right track in Missouri, where she's in a program there. I believe she's still in a residential facility with her child. A lot of things that are resource-wise being dedicated to her success. And so being on paper here in Wyandotte seems an unnecessary redundancy. And again, we are rewarding her for our successful prosecution of who we believe was the real dangerous offender to our community, and that was Jamal Benton, who will be in prison for the better part of a decade now. So all that said, Your Honor, we'd ask you to follow the plea agreement to sentence her to 60 days in jail or in KDOC and give her credit for time served. And then the case would be essentially terminated as a result of that, and she'd be back in Missouri's hands.
All right. Mr. Rivera.
Judge, we're also asking the court to follow the plea agreement. When she was locked up, she was very pregnant. She managed to get out at about the 11th hour of her pregnancy. I think she gave birth, I want to say within like a week of being released. 2 days. I worked hard along with coordinating with pretrial services and some members of the community. We found her a maternity home out in Clinton, Missouri. So we kind of got her there at the last minute. She gave birth out there. She has been living out there ever since. Her new child has been staying with her. She's been closely monitored by social services. Her other child, who is at issue in this case, has been living with his great-grandmother. And there have been proceedings around that, and she's been working hard to get her son back. It's my understanding that once we're done here with this case, that's pretty much done, and she is going to get her son back. I would add, through her monitoring with social services, she's really getting her son back has been the primary motivation. And she's done mental health evaluation. She's voluntarily participating in a dual NAAA class. And I think the next step for her from where she's living now is to move into the transitional home, which I believe is literally right next door to the maternity home she's staying at. She is working about 35 hours a week. She's been able to get a babysitter. I think there's some kind of program she's getting with state assistance where she gets a state certified babysitter at a reduced rate that's allowing her to work. I think all in all, my point is she is doing very well. And I think being a mother to her children is really her primary motivator here. And as the state mentioned, we did discuss her situation at length. And there's, I hate to say, but there's not a lot of traction I think we can get out of putting her on supervision. So we're asking the court to follow the plea agreement.
All right, thank you. Ms. Robinson, anything you want to tell me in mitigation of your sentence today?
No.
All right. Well, look, I think your lawyer worked really hard. Look, at the end of the day, you worked really hard, but your lawyer worked really hard too. And I think one of the fortunate things is you got a prosecutor who takes into all those considerations the things that he did, because you know, if he wanted to get on the moral high horse and talk about what happened in this and the danger and what could have happened, he could have. But I think we all understand and you know what it's like to be a young single mother struggling to make ends meet and making some bad decisions to try and kind of do that. So I think everyone's taken that into consideration. And given the fact of all of the work that you've put in and all of that, I think it's appropriate for this court to follow those recommendations and grant this departure. I will find it substantial and compelling reasons, all of those listed by both counsel today for reasons for that. So I'm going to sentence you to 60 days in the Department of Corrections. You'll be given credit for all the days that you have served. I'm not sure, having never gone to DOC, whether or not there would normally be a period of post-release supervision duration, but I find in this case that it is not appropriate. So I am going to order that there be no post-release supervision duration. Given the defendant's financial hardship, I am going to waive court costs. There is no supervision fee, obviously. I'm going to waive attorney fees and bid fees. This would require her to register in the DNA database, though, and I don't believe that I'm at liberty to waive that fee. Am I correct in that, Mr. Rivera?
Judge, honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, but the only problem with it, well, yeah, I don't think that I can. I think she needs to register, and I think she has to pay that fee. I'm not at liberty to waive that, as far as I know. So look, I'm not going to keep this case open just for that. That'll be sent to collections. Somebody needs to contact the defendant to instruct her as how to provide that sample if she hasn't done so already. And then I think we can close this case out successfully. So that's the court's order today. Ms. Robinson, you have 14 days from today to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. I can't imagine what that would be. But as a convicted felon, it's prohibited for you to own or possess a firearm, certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades, basically knives that could be considered deadly weapons. I won't go through the whole list. Just suffice it to say, before you decide to own or possess a weapon, talk to a good lawyer like Mr. Rivera to make sure that it wouldn't be reason for new charges, okay? With all of that, Mr. Sokoloff, can you think of anything that I failed to cover today?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Rivera, same question.
No, Your Honor.
All right. I think that covers it all. Ms. Robinson, good luck to you and your children. I wish the best for you. And I hope that things start looking up. Keep working hard. You know, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you, life is never a straightforward everything. Now that you've made changes, everything's going to be great. There are going to be tough days, days where it feels like it's not working. You got to fight through those and keep doing the things you're doing. Okay. For you and your children are worth it. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Good luck to you. We
thank
are
you.
adjourned. You bet.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.